Hello, okay, Blood Machines, a 50-minute movie. It's on Shudder, and it's a 50-minute film. I believe it was funded by a Kickstarter, I think. It's directed by a Seth Ickerman, or Ickerman. Apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly. So the plot of this movie is pretty basic. You've got two bounty hunters who are chasing down the soul, the ghost of an AI, of an artificial intelligence, and they have to hunt this female ghost down, and that's about pretty much it. I've seen a lot of advertising for this film, and that's how I discovered it, and so I ended up sort of joining Shudder just to watch this 50-minute film. That's separated into 3 parts. And I have to say, I absolutely fucking loved this film. Like, to sum it up, it's just a cosmic, psychedelic mindfuck. And I absolutely loved it. First of all, I just want to mention the special effects. For a film that was funded by a Kickstarter, I think the budget was incredibly low. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the budget was from the top of my head, but you would swear that, I mean, Hollywood needs to take note of what they achieved with this film in regards to the effects and special effects, because they are amazing. They look so much better than a lot of the big budget Hollywood movies that we get to today. I'm not entirely sure how much is CGI and how much is actual, practical effects, model work. And some of the shots in this movie, like the shot by ear of the ship landing, just looks so real, and it's like, wow, I just couldn't believe that this film was made on the budget that it was. It just looks beautiful, it looks stunning, and it looks real. Like, it's a giant ship, it's fantastical, but it looks real. And I have to mention the score by Carpenter Brute. I fucking loved the score in this film. It's amazing, it's great. Hopefully they will release it on vinyl. I haven't seen it anywhere yet on vinyl. He has got a couple of albums that I've already got on my wish list. I mean, I just love that synth sound, those synth beats, and it just accompanies the journey of these characters, the actual story. It accompanies this story beautifully. It's just great. And the only downside to that is at times it does feel like a music video. So it's almost like the music was created first, and then it was like, right, now we need to think of a story to fit in within the music. And I feel like sort of it felt like a little bit like a music video, but I loved it. It just visually, this movie was stunning. Like, it's mesmerizing, it's psychedelic, but it's also very immersive as well. And I just loved how the film looked and how it was shot. So you've got that sort of 70s B-movie low budget feel with the way it actually looks on the screen, the actual film, and I really dug that. It reminded me of those sort of B-movie horror movies from the 70s, Alien being one. I just really dug the overall look of the movie, and you sort of got that sort of old film look, and I just really dug it. It looked like a low budget movie, but when it came to the actual effects and how it was all brought to life, I was just like, wow, this looks stunning. And they've created it for barely, well, like I said, I can't remember how much it was made for, but believe me, it was a very low budget. For me, this movie really sort of reminded me a lot, or felt a lot like a mix of other movies like Alien, 2001, A Space Odyssey, mixed with a bit of Blade Runner. Then you've got movies like Neon Demon and Only God Forgives with a splash of Mandy. All of that mixed up into one, and you've got Blood Machines. And I just, like I said, I really dug the overall look of it. It has that sort of 70s sort of film stock feel, like low budget feel about it, which I really dug. And it was just, for such a simple plot, I just found the whole experience to be very immersive, and it's just down to the way it was, like, that it was created. I don't think the film is for everyone. And it's also, as you know, it can be as deep as you make it, I feel, as well. Like I said, the plot's quite basic, but I think a lot, what I really liked about this film and what I got from it was the visuals. I think a lot of the story is told through its visuals. A lot of its meaning, you know, its metaphors, and what the film, what they're trying to say, the filmmakers are trying to say, is all done through these visuals, these striking, stunning, beautiful, cosmic, psychedelic visuals. And I've watched the film 3 times within a week, and on the third viewing I seen things that I didn't see the first time or the second time round. The third part of the film, the third part of the story, the climax, I saw something different in terms of how it all played out with the visuals. So for me, I felt like this film has layers, and on each viewing I think it can change depending on how you're looking at it, on your mood. But I do, and that's what I like about these type of movies. Like, the plot can be a simple, you know, I've said this many times before, but you can have a really basic, simple plot, but it's how you bring that plot to life which is what really makes the film, and it depends on how much you enjoy it and how good it is, or how good you think it is. And for me, I think from a technical aspect, this was a really well done film, and I just, like I said, I just loved how it was sort of crafted and brought to life. And on each viewing, it was a different experience, purely because I was seeing certain scenes from a different perspective and a different aspect. Like, they were playing out, and I was like, oh, that's sort of like, that could be like that, and this could be like this. And I just love that. And maybe on my 4th viewing, or my 5th viewing, I will see certain moments in different ways. I mean, and I really like that about this film. Like, the final part, the climax, the battle. I'm not going to say too much because this is a spoiler-free review. But on the 3rd viewing, I fancied the imagery that was used and the way the scene played out was actually quite sexual. But I didn't get that on the 1st or 2nd viewing, and that's what I mean by layers. I just saw something different and new each time I watched it. So the plot is simple, and some people might complain about that, but like I said, it's how it's brought to life and how it's created, and that's what I really liked about this film. But it's also the simplicity of the plot, which is one of this film's sort of most beautiful aspects, really, and that's sort of the mystery behind it all. It's like, you know, what is the relationship between the humans and the machines? And, you know, you've got this captain who's giving these orders to the bounty hunters and all of that. It's never really explained, but, you know, you've got that mystery there, and I like that as well. Like, some people will want that all explained, but this, at the end of the day, this was a 50-minute film, and they tried to tell the story in 50 minutes, and as a result, they used a lot of visuals to tell that story, and so because the dialogue is minimum, and the dialogue we do get is at times a little bit clunky, but you can get away with that. For me, it worked. It was clunky, but it also worked, because this is a new world that's being created, and it's like Star Wars, really. I mean, people complain about the dialogue in Star Wars, but Star Wars is based within a completely different universe. And so I think when it comes to dialogue, sometimes you can just get away with it being a little bit odd, or a little bit clunky, or a little bit ropey. And I think for me in this film, even though at times the dialogue was clunky, it actually benefited the film. It actually worked for the film and added to the experience. And I think what the filmmakers were looking for when it comes to the feel and the atmosphere and the vibe, because this film is built on 80s or 70s nostalgia. And it has that, and they really achieve that. And performances, all of the performances are really good as well. For me, the standout was an Elisa Alasawski. Sorry again if I pronounced the name incorrectly. I'm just useless at pronouncing names. But she plays Corey, and I found her performance really mesmerizing, and she was really, really good in this film. Anders Henriksen, who plays Vaskan, he was also really good. The only problem I had with his character was you never quite understood him. You never quite understood what his motives were, or the sort of character he was, or the type of person he was, because his character seemed to change quite a lot. His character seemed to flip back and forth quite a lot. So he would start off as someone you would dislike because of certain things that he would do, and then there would be a moment where he'd be having these interactions with his mate on the ship, and it would be like, oh, you know, you sort of felt a little bit for this character because this character showed a different side of him, sort of a different light. And then again, something would happen in a scene later, and he would do something that would make you despise the character. So I never really truly understood what they were aiming for when it came to the character of Vascan. And then you've got a Christian Eriksen that plays Largo, there's an older bounty hunter on this ship along with Vascan. And I really liked his performance, and his character shows a lot of sort of vulnerability. And his character was probably the most developed when it comes to like an emotional level, and you sort of understand the character a little bit more than you do when it comes to the other bounty hunter, Vasgan. I also really like the look of the ship's AI, the robot. It reminded me a lot of the robot from Metropolis. I just really like the look of it and how it moved, and everything just sort of felt real, and it just like almost if you could touch it. So yeah, Blood Machines, I highly recommend it. I absolutely love the movie. You know, I love the film. It's not perfect, you know, there were a couple of things with character and just, you know, here and there, but they're really minor gripes for me. For me, this was such an immersive, mesmerizing experience that I just enjoyed so much, and for this to have been made on the budget that it was, you know, visually it's stunning. I loved it. And because of that experience that I had with this, like, I really hope they sort of do more, that we see more from this world and this story. We may never, and you know what, if we don't, we don't, because I really like the mystery behind it as well. It's like Star Wars A New Hope. When that first came out, we never knew, I wasn't born at the time, but you know, people didn't know they were going to get sequels, but you know, there was a lot of mystery around the story. You know, you'd hear of the Emperor, but who was the Emperor and all of that, and that's what I really liked about this, and the fact that a lot of the story, I mean, the fact that they kept the dialogue to the minimum and tried to tell the story through visuals as much as possible, I kind of liked as well. I really liked it, and yeah, I look forward to seeing more from Seth Ickerman, or Ickerman, however you pronounce his name. And again, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing more from Carpenter Brute as well, because I absolutely love those synth beats that we've got in this movie. And so yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a cosmic, psychedelic, mesmerizing, immersive mindfuck, and I will be giving Blood Machines a 9 out of 10. Blood Machines is actually one of my favourite movies of the year so far, and it's not even a full-length, film with a big Hollywood budget or anything like that. But you could just sort of, the love that was behind this film, you could feel it, you could see it, and I I love the experience. I haven't seen anything quite like it or like this for a while, and it felt original, it felt new, it felt refreshing, and it was just such an immersive experience. Highly recommended. They are my thoughts and opinions of Blood Machines. What are yours? Please let me know below. Was there anything you agreed or disagreed with? Remember, if you want to follow a geek from Wales, just talk about film, TV, and everything geeky, then why not hit that subscribe button? I have just ventured into the world of live streaming, and I'm currently streaming or recording myself play, very badly in fact, Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. The reason why I've picked that game is purely down to nostalgia. It's one of the first games I played on the N64. I absolutely love the game. I love the story actually more than anything. But I'm doing that currently. I'm playing that on Twitch, and I'm uploading them on YouTube. I'm deciding at the moment though I am going to play around with the YouTube side of it as well, because I know YouTube do the live gaming function as well, and I'm sort of going to delve into that and see which one works best for me. But yeah, I got those videos coming up. The part 1 and part 2 I've already uploaded, but it's just been fun sort of going back and revisiting a little bit of my childhood there. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. And remember, please, if you want to see future reviews from myself, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit the like. It will mean a lot to me. And I will be seeing you guys very soon.